So I'd like to tell you what a leader can do to create a psychologically safe environment for their team. And what I have for you is a 4-step model. And the first stage is all around balance in your energy. And the second stage is about how a leader can relate to the people, but also the issues, and know where to separate the two. And the third stage is all about being curious, but also being evidence-based, so managing the polarity of those two things. And the final fourth stage to create a psychologically safe environment for your team is all about having routine in the team, but also space for rhythm. So if I go through those each in turn, and we look first at how we create a balance in the energy in a team, a leader needs to integrate both introversion and extroversion. So with their introversion, they need to create a mindful atmosphere in the team where people can pause and reflect and be conscious and consider. But with the extroversion, they need to bring energy and motivation to make sure that energy of the team is jazzed. And the leader themselves needs to role model balancing that energy in the team. If you overdo one at the expense of the other, we can lose some psychological safety as we over-engage in one of those polarities. If we move to the second stage here, where we're going to talk about how we relate to the person, the issue, the way we frame this is a leader needs to be human. That means they're kind and they're people-focused, but they also need to be candid, which means they're outcome-focused and tell the truth. Now, a good leader themselves role models doing both of those things. They know how to acknowledge the human being while not necessarily agreeing with all the issues being discussed, so they can be candid and direct about the issues. If they can integrate both, they'll be much more effective. Sometimes this is called leading with head being candid and heart being human. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung talked a lot about how in the second half of life, to individuate, which is a posh word for grow, we need to integrate these opposites. So opposites need to come together. Instead of flip-flopping, we do it in a smooth way. So the third stage of looking at psychological safety and what a leader can do to do that for their team is about encouraging the team to be curious. We link this to big picture thinking, creativity. How can they role model that? But at the same time, too much of that creates more of a meandering, scattergun approach, which doesn't feel safe. You need to balance it with focusing on the facts, the evidence, be down to earth, and there is an appropriate space in a team to be critical. So if we can integrate both of those, evidence-based with a curious mindset, that will make the team feel more engaged and safer. And finally, the fourth stage in this model is all about integrating discipline with inspiration. We call it holding people accountable, yet being agile. You can relate this, the discipline relates to having a routine and a structure in the team. People feel safe if they know where they fit in a structure, but also if it's too structured, some people will feel constrained. So you need to have a bit of flow. So we call that the rhythm. And that's where with the accountability, you hold people accountable, but you're willing to sometimes let that go and be agile and maybe change the commitments and the accountability in order to create a balanced perspective. Again, it's integrating these opposites, which a leader needs to role model. So there you have it, the 4 stages to creating a psychologically safe team environment that a leader can engage in.